Okay, so now that's the spatial that's the join that points to polygon, and polygon to points that we can do neighborhood name on each crime point and start with crime point and neighborhood polygon. So polygon to points that we will do is the spatial join that layer we will show later, and points to points and how close crime is to a school. So start with the crime points and school points, points to points, and then the results of join. So we will see in detail. Of course, we cannot do everything at just once. Index. So okay. The file geodatabase. Let me pull this back to talk about file geodatabase real quick. So the file geodatabase, okay, is like a container for all the data of an organization, projects, or other undertaking for record keeping, decision making, analysis, or research. So a file geodatabase is a very simplified database for geospatial data, including feature classes and raster datasets, and for geoprocessing by single users or small groups. So in terms of data format, a file geodatabase is simply a file folder with .gdb at the end of its name that contains a number of files. A GDB is not a file extension but just part of the folder name. Processing of data in a file geodatabase is done using ArcGIS Pro's ArcCatalog pane, geoprocessing tools, and user interface. For example, Food Desert's Chicago geodatabase could be the name of a file geodatabase that stores spatial data for analyzing residents' access to grocery stores in Chicago, starting with feature classes for grocery stores, streets, and population in census blocks in Chicago. The workflow for estimating the number of Chicago residents who live in food deserts, that is, live a mile or more from the nearest grocery store, would have you create additional feature classes and tables. So output and stored in Food Desert Chicago geodatabase. So we will have more spatial analysis tools later, buffers or service area of grocery stores for carrying out such a workflow. That although file geodatabases have a simple format, they nevertheless are powerful spatial data containers. And then, for example, geodatabases have no practical limits on numbers and the sizes of feature classes and raster datasets storing them. They are optimized for data processing and storage in ArcGIS Pro, and they allow data tables to relate and join essential database processes. So now what we're going to do is importing spatial data into file geodatabases, modifying data, joining tables, aggregating data on individual points to group level data in polygons, querying data using attribute criteria, building a spatial join, which is unique to GIS, using ArcGIS Pro catalog pane for utility work on file geodatabase. So now we're going to start with a import data into a file geodatabase. We're going to create a new ArcGIS Pro project. The software automatically creates a geodatabase for you, and the project default spatial data container. So we're going to create a new project, and we will import data from external sources into new project file geodatabase. So I'm going to go to my ArcGIS Pro. And under create a new project, we're going to click blank and then make type of the section as shown. That here we will do we are not open new one. Go to create a new and select blank, so that navigate to my desktop and my tutorial. There, so I'm gonna go back, tutorial, okay, click OK. So I'm saving in my chapter 4, and here I will just say chapter 4. And then I'm just going to uncheck this, create a new folder for this project. I don't want this folder because the chapter folder it's already exists. So here it mentioned that ensure that you clear the create a new folder for this project checkbox. So because chapter 4 it's already there, click OK. And close the catalog pane. So catalog pane, this is the catalog pane. I'm going to drag it out. So it asks us to close it. ArcGIS Pro catalog. And then we have so many catalog. It's so weird. ArcGIS Pro creates a new project. So this is the new project as well as the chapter 4 geodatabase file geodatabase and chapter 4 toolbox. So next we will save the project with the name tutorial for and -1 to follow the naming convention for projects here. And note that every new feature classes table and other files we create are saved by default or the project file geodatabase. So on the project tab, we're going to click Save As. And then browse to the folder tutorial and we will say, oh, that's a lot. So now here we will say tutorial 4-1. So, and by default, APRX will be there for you. So now, and on file or Windows, we're going to delete that from, I'm not gonna delete it for now. We could, but it takes a lot of space. So in ArcGIS Pro on the project tab, we're going to click option in the option window, and the current setting tab, we will have some settings there in new project tab. Click options, project tab. I'm gonna go to options. So now here is everything here. The name is tutorial 4.1, location it has home folder, and default geodatabase is right here, and default toolbox is right here. Now we're going to click cancel and go back to this arrow and back here, and click a new map, and this map will open the topographic based map, show North America. So new map. I don't know if other country will show up. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you could try ArcGIS Pro in other countries, whether it will show up maybe in Latin America, Brazil, or China, or Europe, or Germany. So different country or different region. I don't know, but that could be interesting if you could tell me. So when you create the ArcGIS Pro already created a folder connection to the folder in which we created the project. So it is also useful to have a connection to the chapter 4 folder because it has the data folder within it. So which has shapefile and other spatial data we're going to use to access the conveniently without browsing from C to C or other places. Here it's D for me. It's on my desktop, so that's why I put it there. It's a lot easier to work in that way. And now we're going to expand folder to tutorials. Here we will see the contents of the tutorials folder except for the project files. When we need to add data in the future, we can click the tutorials folder and have direct access to this chapter 4 geodatabase file geodatabase. Instead of having to browse along the C path, and we're going to right-click folders and add folder connection. So going back to project. Oh no. Home. Map. Okay. Add folder connections. So folder. Then I will go to desktop and Go to chapter 4, click OK. Okay, we already add the folder connection, and we're going to browse to my chapter 4 folder. In the catalog pane, we can alright. So we're going to expand chapter 4 folder. Folders, and it's right here. Chapter 4, tutorial and data and everything is right here. So now we will see that chapter 4 has 3 subfolders: tutorial, assignment, Let's see, chapter 4, tutorial, assignment, and then we will have everything here. And then subfolder tutorial, chapter 4, tutorial, data, and I don't have assignment, and data. Okay, data, tutorial. Forget about assignment, that's fine. We will need from the data folder, and we can click folder and click connection to see. And we don't have to hide it. I just like to put it here. Okay, I'm going to import shapefile and a data table into a file geodatabase. A shapefile is an Israeli spatial data format dating to the 1990s to a single shapefile, although no longer Israel's preferred spatial data format. And shapefile are still used by many spatial data suppliers. For example, the U.S. Census Bureau is the source of shapefile used in this. In here, we will learn more about the shapefiles and the other spatial data formats later. But now understand that ArcGIS Pro allows we to import shapefile and other map layer formats into file geodatabase. When stored in a file geodatabase, a map layer is called a feature class. When displayed as part of a map, it is a map layer. So on the Analysis tab, we're going to click Tools, Analysis tab, and go to Tools. And in the Geoprocessing pane, we're going to search for an open feature to class, feature class to feature class. So I would just have to type in feature class to feature class. So the first one, conversion to, conversion tool. For input, this tool we can use a feature class from a file geodatabase, a shapefile, or a coverage. Coverage is one of Israel's earliest spatial data formats. For outputs, the tool we can copy a feature class to a different file geodatabase, convert a feature class into a shapefile, convert a shapefile to coverage into a feature class, or convert a coverage into a shapefile. So now for input feature class, we're going to click the Browse button. And then the input feature window under project, we're going to click folder, double click the chapter 4 connection. Chapter 4 connection, and click the data folder. And then click the Mirror Company folder. So let's back up a little bit. Chapter 4. And chapter 4, we will go to, is it tutorial? Data folder. Okay, data. Alright, so it is the Maricopa County folder. And we have two shapefile. We're going to select is the 10 one. Tracks for a sensor. It's COB sub, okay. And click OK. And then for output feature class type, we will do cities. And once we have a cities, the input shapefile for county subdivision. So cities, towns, and so on was downloaded from Census Government. It was, as was the TL 2010-04013 course sub 10th shapefile census tracts. The new feature class cities is automatically stored in the default file geodatabase. So now you can see chapter 4 geodatabase, and we don't have to do anything here. And we're going to click run. And when it finishes, we will close